for a particular item can be obtained by these kind of statistics. But do you think it is that simple कि मैंने पहले जो खरीदा था वही आगे खरीदूंगी, तो फिर रिकमेंडेशन क्या हुआ, उसमें नॉवेल्टी क्या आई? I mean, उस हिसाब से तो it will just ask me to do repeat purchases and nobody does repeat purchase. How come it is able to talk about new products?
Some sort of similarity between the old product and the new product.
Okay. So the similarity is not just in terms of old product and new product. इतना simple नहीं होता है, बल्कि it is what is users who have got similar profiles as mine. I mean, आप बाकी users who are similar to me, उन्होंने ये खरीदा है या नहीं वो भी देखा जा सकता है. Then it will be slightly interesting. But how does the system know which users are similar to me? So the system doesn't work on the basis of only one individual. The system has to see कि हाँ इस तरह के individuals को क्या पसंद है. And how does he know about who are the ones who are similar to me? Do you recollect? इस तरह से आता है ना, people who brought this also brought this. Bundle purchase में, when there is a bundle purchase, तो कई बार ऐसे आता है. But I'm just giving a hint. How does, so it's not just what I like. क्योंकि if there's something which I like, that means the system is depending only upon what I like, and therefore it's just giving me repeat or similar products, which is not interesting. एक बंदा एक तरह के प्रोडक्ट कब तक खरीदेगा? पर कोई नई चीज मार्केट में आई है और वो यूजर को पसंद है या नहीं, ये कैसे पता चल सकता है? When it recommends something, it will have to know whether this person will be interested in it or not. So that it finds out by finding out similar, uh, yeah. So the movie with genre and all that. ये तो So if I like an action movie today, I'll like action movies forever. Possible, but not necessarily. Again, the system will make a great mistake if I assume that I'm a stereotypical person जो कि एक ही तरह के, I just buy one thing and one type of thing, right? So it will stereotype me, and very soon I will get bored of such a recommendation system. But often it tells me something that I haven't brought so far, or उस category में I haven't brought. Yeah, one of the ways is similar. You find out similar products, but that's really not what recommendation systems do. So what they do is they try to find out users who are similar to me, my age group maybe, इस तरह से. But then that's again not enough. So two people need not have the same profile in order to be clubbed as similar. So who are the ones who are similar to me? So वो similarity. So it is a sort of a, क्योंकि इसमें you don't have any tag, so it's not a supervised learning. Okay, it's not a supervised learning. It is a learning where it has to find similar users, and based on that, आगे की decision होगा, आगे का decision होगा. So this similarity, it can be found out by finding other users who have purchased more or less similar items as mine, or the same item, or कैसे, or rated. So ratings बहुत use होता है. So typically when a person purchases, he or she rates, or मूवी रेटिंग्स हो सकती हैं, बुक्स रेटिंग्स हो सकती हैं, सम अदर प्रोडक्ट फूड स्टफ की रेटिंग्स हो सकती हैं. तो रेटिंग्स देखेगा. व्हाट यू फाइंड आउट इज हु आर द वंस हु हैव रेटेड अदर आइटम्स सिमिलर टू मी. मतलब दोज आर द सिमिलर पीपल. द प्रोडक्ट्स व्हिच आई लाइक, or have rated highly, other people have also rated highly. Now, this is called collaborative filtering. So it is a sort of an unsupervised learning. जिसमें it makes a matrix of users versus items. And if users versus items, it tries to find out those users who have rated similar items. And likewise, an item which have been, who are the users who have rated an item, and what are the items that have been rated by some users. So those users who have rated similarly will help you make a decision for later on. For example, if I'm a person who likes this a certain kind of movie, certain kind of book, certain kind of dress material, etc., and there are other people also like me, then the system is able to decipher that the tastes are quite similar. Broad spectrum taste. जरूरी नहीं है कि वही एक ही movie हो and then otherwise it will become repetitive. So it tries to do what is called collaborative filtering, where collaboration means people who are similar to me and have rated other movies similarly. जो अच्छे नहीं लगे मैं मुझे वो उनको भी if I don't like something, the others also don't like the same things. If I like something, the others also like the same thing. So those are my similar. This is called collaborative filtering in recommender systems. So this kind of a technique is followed for classifying, for predicting what I may like in future. And likewise, there is something called content-based filtering, where एक collaborative filtering है. Another is content-based, where what you people are saying is found out similarity in item content. Item, so they try to find out what kind of an item it is. So what kind of directors or what kind of genres of movies I like. Likewise, my own content. So the content may be for the user, my profile, or content about the item. For example, you want to have recommender system for tourist places. So what kind of tourist places I like? Historical, nature type, ocean type. So that's another way of doing recommendation system. So I mentioned recommender systems because by now you must know that classification is not simply about classifying diseases or emails or diagnosis, etc. Whether but also about these kind of interesting things. They are trying to predict what a person may like. All right. And so we have these kind of recommended systems. One is collaborative filtering, another is content based filtering, or it may be a mixture of the two, or it may be something like a cross domain recommendation system. All these things is possible if I'm not a new user but I'm an old user in a domain. I've been in Amazon for a long time and I've rated many things, so then other people who have rated similarly can be found out. But supposing I've just made my login and I don't have any ratings so far, then what the system does, then the user doesn't know anything about me except my profile, my date of birth, maybe age, and this and that. Not know about my likes and dislikes. So then we have something called cross-domain recommender systems, where it catches me which are the domains in which I was there for a long time. For example, maybe I'm new to movies, but I'm not new to books. So it will try to find out from books which movies I may like. So this is, based on the similarity between books and movies, it can. This is called cross-domain recommendation. So interesting things are there in classification. Don't think of machine learning to be those simple classifications that we have done. Other kinds of classifications are also there, and by now you should be more interested that kitne applications हो सकते हैं. So recommender system is also one of the this thing classification system. So be that as मैं उसको छोड़ो अभी. I just deliberately revised the applications because the applications you should always be aware of the applications. So these are some of them. Now, so we are talking of using statistics to make classifications, right? So the first thing that we do is to revise some basic laws of probability. So you know these laws, the rule of addition or union of two sets. So there are two sets A and B, and the union is the probability of A union B. That means A or B is addition. The probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. ये तो सभी को पता है. And likewise, product rule, where the intersection part of it, this intersection part of it, uh, you know that if A and B are independent events, then it will be PA into PB. But if they are not independent, then it will be a conditional probability. A intersection B is probability of A conditioning to the fact that P has occurred multiplied by probability of B. So this happens when there is a dependency. A depends on B. If A depends on B, then it will be conditional probability. If A depends on B, then if B happens, A will also happen to some extent. That's what it means. So these are the two rules for product rule: independent, non-independent. So from here we can find out So now, before I go further, can you guess what would A and B probably be for classification problem? Because we are talking of classification by using probability, and therefore maybe we should be knowing. Try to guess कि A and B क्या हो सकता है? What can they be for classification? Yeah. So I would like to find out the say conditional probability. Look at this formula for conditional probability. Look at this formula for conditional probability. This one. So probability of A conditional to B happening is, you can get this from the previous formula, PA
Ma'am,
intersection B.
are you changing the slides?
I'm on the same slide, revision of basic laws of probability.
Ma'am, your screen shows the slide, first slide only.
Not on my screen. अच्छा मैं तो दो जगहों पे हूँ, ऐसा तो नहीं आ रहा है. Let me stop sharing and then I'll share again. ये तो बड़ी अजीब बात है. You didn't even see the slide on applications?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll stop sharing and I'll share once again. I am seeing the screen on two screens and एक में तो आ रहा था. Now,
Yes, ma'am, it's visible now.
so इसका this the previous slide was about applications. Yeah, applications. So I was talking of the recommended systems. है ना? Recommended systems. And now I am on the next slide, which is revision of basic laws of probability. So I was doing the union law, intersection law in case of dependent events and independent events. So for dependent events, it is A intersection B is A, probability of A conditional to the fact that B has occurred multiplied by probability of B. Or it can be the other way around, probability of B conditional to the fact that A has occurred multiplied by probability of A. Can you give an example of dependent events? And then intersection matlab and, both A and B happening. So can you give an example of dependent events happening together? Take any two dependent events.
I'm choosing a coin and tossing a coin, choosing a coin from the bag and then tossing it.
Okay. Choosing a coin. See, can you toss without choosing?
No, ma'am, like we have to have a coin to toss it.
Yeah. So this example is not really correct now. You'll have to talk of events. इसलिए जरूरी ना, अगर जरूरी हो तो then it becomes same thing. So in your case, you give a slightly better example. For example, raining and traffic jam. That traffic usually gets jammed when there is rain. So what is the probability of raining and traffic jam? So traffic jam can happen due to various reasons. It can be due to an accident, it can be due to office time, or it can be due to rains. Many reasons are there. So if you want to find the probability of traffic jam conditional to the and rain, then you have to find probability of traffic jam conditional to the fact that rain has happened multiplied by probability of rain. है ना? So jam can happen due to various reasons, not just rain. But then if you want to find that these two are happening simultaneously and they are dependent events, you can't say that jam is independent of rain because jam can happen due to rain. तो इस तरह का कोई एग्जाम्पल सोचना चाहिए दिमाग में. So whatever it is, there are two cases: dependent events की intersection या and rule, and independent events की is plain multiplication if they are absolutely independent of each other, right? All right. So conditional probability can be derived from here. P A conditional to B happening is P A intersection B divided by P P. Now, can you make a guess in case of classification? What would these events A and B be? Probability of A conditional to B. So, what is it that we are trying to figure out in classification? In fact, probability हमने किया था, logistic regression में भी किया था. Probability. What is it? What would A be? What is it that we are trying to find out in classification? What are we trying to find out in classification?
To which class it belongs, the given
Yeah, yeah. Given.
the given set of attributes.
Right. So what should A be? Classes. Yes. Probability of a certain class given what should B be? Yes, class. And what should B be? Instances of features given a set of because we are going to classify new examples, right? So a new example will be given. And a new example we have to classify. So that new example will comprise only of the features, not of the final class. So given that set of features, what should be the class? That is the condition. So we are now using probability to find, and that is equal to this formula, A and B occurring together divided by PB, probability of B, the features happening, right? Probability of features is a sum total of all possible conditional probabilities. So if you are talking of an example, say whether fish is mackerel or tuna, whether a fish is mackerel or tuna may depend upon the number of fins, upon the length of the fish, and the size of the head. Let us say I've got three features. Now, these given a new example, say length is 2 feet, number of fins is 5, and head size is large. Okay. Now, a combination of these features can happen if the fish is tuna or if the fish is mackerel. So when I say PB, it is the total features, total probability. So what is there in the denominator is the total probability, right? And what is there in the top? A union A intersection B, both of them happening together, tuna and those features, right? So B actually is a set of features, not just one here. In this case, it's a set of features. So you know what's the total probability? It is the summation of each individual probabilities. B features given A1 into PA1 plus PB given A2 probability of A2. In our example, tuna and mackerel. So probability of this length of the fish, this size of the head, and this many number of fins, given that the fish is tuna, multiplied by probability of tuna, plus the same features given that it is mackerel, multiplied by probability of mackerel. ये होना चाहिए total probability of this particular set of features. So in the denominator, you have the total probability. So this is what we already know from class 12, nothing new in it. But now we are trying to apply, are trying to use probability and statistics for predicting an outcome or classifying, which is so instinctive also. So whenever we talk of Bayesian classification, we are not seeing individual cases. What we are seeing is the probability, and probability we can't calculate unless until we have many instances, right? It's a cumulative statistic. It's an averaging out. So we have first moment as mean and the second moment as standard deviation and so onwards. For all that we need data. So unless until we have data, you can't find probability. And that's what we are doing earlier also. Earlier also we were seeing the data. Now also we have data, but now using the data, I'm calculating the probabilities directly. Okay, this is Bayesian learning or probabilistic learning. And here the base formula for classification is derived from here only, right? It is derived from this part. It is derived from this part. So base formula says probability of A, where we have decided that A is a certain class, given B, and we have seen that B is a set of features, is equal to probability of B given A, ulta, yani features given a particular class, multiplied by probability of that class, divided by total probability of those features, right? Which, as you know, is a summation of different probabilities. So this is the basic formula for Bayesian learning. And if I take an example, okay, so Bayesian learning first comprises of the prior probabilities. This part is the prior probability, PA. So A is a class, as you guys have said, A is a class. So what is the prior probability of a class? Okay, so let's take the case of cancer detection and probability of cancer and probability of not cancer. These are prior probabilities which are independent of any features. PA, plain and simple. A particular class, what is the probability of a class? Okay, let's say what is the probability of tuna in the whole world? In nature, what is the probability that any fish is tuna? P tuna, P mackerel. Right? Likewise for cancer, P not cancer. So here I assume that probability of cancer is 0.8% and probability of not cancer is 99.2%. So 0.8% of the population can have cancer all over the world. And so this is a known fact. So prior probabilities are usually known. But when we try to test an individual, whether a person has cancer or not, then then it becomes a conditional probability because now you're going to perform tests, either clinical tests or lab tests, right? And so that is what is meant by the second part of it. This part of it, P feature given cancer or given a certain particular class. Those are called the likelihoods. And these are conditional probabilities of evidences or data given that a hypothesis exists. So let's say the hypothesis is cancer. So given cancer, and supposing you conduct a lab test or a clinical test, okay, and the lab test is positive, then what is the probability lab test is positive given cancer? What is the probability that lab test is positive, not cancer, and probability lab test is negative given? So if I have a cancer patient, let's say we know that this person definitely has cancer, and then we do a test on the person. Is it necessary that the test is always positive? The test may not be foolproof, na? Likewise, a doctor may not be foolproof if he is doing clinical examination, even though the person may have cancer, and the doctor might say, no, no, you don't have cancer, whereas the guy quoting him might be having cancer. So, if the probability that the lab test or the clinical diagnosis is positive given cancer is 98%, what is the probability that given cancer he does not have the lab test is negative or the clinical diagnosis is negative? 1 minus that, so 0.02. So this and this is very simple. They sum up to 1. And then it's also possible that the lab test is positive for not cancer. And let's say that is 0.03 because the lab test is not all that foolproof. It's not 100% foolproof. Okay, so it's possible that the person may not have cancer and yet the lab test is positive, and the probability of that is 0.03. And then obviously, not cancer and negative is 1 minus that, so 97. Right? So 3% chances that the lab test is still positive, even though the. So tell me one thing: if the person doesn't have cancer and uh, 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 so what do we do in that case? Supposing the person has cancer and the lab test is negative, what should we do? Should we determine that the person doesn't have cancer?
Ma'am, what was the condition you stated?
The person has cancer. Supposing the patient, we know that the person has cancer, but when a lab test is conducted on this person, then the result comes out to be negative. So should we directly say, no, you don't have cancer?
We can conduct a retest.
Either we conduct a retest or we conduct another more reliable test, right? A more costlier but reliable test.
Yes, ma'am.
Given the fact that prior probabilities are so skewed, the probability of a person having cancer is only 0.8%, and probability of a person not having cancer is 99.2%. So therefore, one has to be careful. One cannot rely on one test. Maybe one wants a test which is even more reliable. Okay, so that depends how reliable the test is. All right. So so what I was trying to say, another example of, I'm taking another example. So let us say there is an albino tiger, and of all the tigers in the world, only 0.6% are albinos, and therefore, what probability of not albino is? That's simple. Rare probabilities. There are only two cases: probability of an albino tiger, not an albino tiger. So I'm just these are the prior probabilities. So if the prior probability of albino is zero point 0.6, then what should be the probability of not albino? ये तो बता दो.
0.994.
Yeah, 99.4% chances है. So these are the prior probabilities. And then we find out the feature, and let's say the feature is yellow tinge. I'm just trying to see whether the yellow tinge is there or not. And these are my probabilities of yellow tinge albino, yellow tinge not albino. So what will be the not yellow tinge given albino? This is a feature. So what will be the probability of, given that the tiger is albino, doesn't have yellow tinge?
And 0.5.
Yeah, in this case it's 0.5, and likewise not albino के लिए, not albino and not yellow tinge will be 0.1. So if I'm giving some of the probabilities, I can calculate the other probabilities. But note that there is no relation between this and this. Okay. So just remember that yellow tinge is a feature, and the feature is given to us. For classification, the features will be given to us. Say yellow tinge. So we have to calculate these two probabilities: yellow tinge given albino, yellow tinge not albino. Okay, so these are the two classes, albino and not albino. So for that, we need the likelihoods. All right. So I'm just giving some examples. So then the Bayesian rule says the probable. Now I've changed my A and B to hypothesis and data. Hypothesis are the classes and data is the features. So probability of a hypothesis given data is equal to probability of hypothesis. ये गलत आ गया ना? Uh, data given आना चाहिए था. This is wrong. Just remove this. This is probability of data given H. Okay. So probability of data given hypothesis which is what? Which is the, it is called what? अभी भी मैंने बोला ना, I just said, what is this called? Probability of data, probability of feature given hypothesis is called what? Yeah, likelihood. This is the likelihood or evidence. In case it's a legal, in case it's a legal thing. In case it's legal, so you want to find out whether a person has committed a murder or not, right? So whether a person has committed a murder or not can be dependent on a number of features. Can you suggest some feature in this case?
In the case of murder,
Hmm.
a mental stability, the relationship with the victim.
Chalo, relationship with the victim. Let's say the relationship with the victim is husband and wife. So the wife gets murdered and with the husband. So then what will be the likelihood or evidence? So probability that given that the murder has occurred, what is the chance of, what is the probability of the perpetrator of the crime being a husband given that the murder has happened, and probability, so that is the likelihood, that's the evidence. So can we talk of a better evidence than this? ये अच्छा नहीं लग रहा ये evidence. What are the typical evidences lawyers use to prove a murder or not a murder?
Fingerprints, DNA on the murder
Yes,
weapon.
yeah. Fingerprints, DNA, right? So let us say fingerprint. Okay, the weapon of murder has been found out, and fingerprints. All right. So if a fingerprint is found on the body of the person, that's a clear cut that we take as a very good evidence, right? So now we are trying to find out the probability that given murder, what is the, I mean, uh, 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 given that murder has occurred, what is the probability that there is a fingerprint on the body? That is the likelihood. That is the evidence that a person is. The lawyer will say, "Look, my lord, the fingerprint is found on the murdered person's throat." Well, everybody will take it as well. This is a strong evidence. So this probability that a feature is there given that a class is there is also called evidence. Okay. Uh, Evidential probability and also called likelihood. So this is what's happening. So if I want to find out probability of a hypothesis given some evidences are already there, then it will have to find out what is the probability of that particular evidence given the hypothesis multiplied by probability of the hypothesis itself divided by total probability of the evidence. So this part is called likelihood. Likelihood. Okay, this part is called likelihood. This part is called prior probability, and this is the total probability, and this is the probability of the hypothesis given the data. Any a new set of evidences is there, and you're trying to find out the hypothesis, right? That is called posteriori, a posteriori. So this is the prior probability of H. This is the posterior probability of H. All right. Posterior probability or a posteriori is the probability of a hypothesis given that the data is there. Certain evidences are there. This is what is called Bayesian learning. And well, I have to find out whether the murder has been committed or not. I have to find out whether it is a tuna or a mackerel. I have to find out whether a patient has cancer or not. Right. So two things are there. Yes, cancer, no cancer. Tuna, mackerel. Murder, yes, murder, no. Right. So these are the hypotheses that I have to make. So there are two or three hypotheses. Which hypothesis should I show? If I calculate, I can calculate each of these probabilities. Which one would I ultimately take? So for instance, in this case, in the case of cancer, we were doing those figures with cancer, and so you see 0.98 and 0.03. 0.98 was the probability of the positive test given the cancer, and 0.03 was probability of positive test not cancer. See these probability of positive given cancer, probability of positive test not cancer. So these are my two hypotheses, this and these are my two hypotheses. All right, and in this case I'll have to have these. So 0.98 into 0.03 are the two likelihoods multiplied by prior probabilities of cancer, which is 0.008, and not cancer, which is 0.992. So this comes out to be these values. Now, can you tell me, calculate these, and with this lab test, what should be the result? What should be the hypothesis we choose? So I have two, I'm calculating two probabilities, probability of cancer, probability of no cancer. Which one will win? Calculate these two values and tell me. So it is given that the lab test is positive. So should I diagnose cancer or not cancer? Lab test positive Aya. The lab test has come out to be positive. Now tell me, should I conclude that the patient has cancer or should I conclude that the patient doesn't have cancer?
No cancer.
Okay. So which means this probability is more than this probability, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And that is what is called Bayesian learning. What you are trying to do is maximize the a posteriori hypothesis. You have various a posteriori hypotheses. You calculate all the a posteriori hypotheses. For each hypothesis, you calculate the a posteriori and find the maximum of them, and you can make your judgment. That, and a good thing about it is not only it will say that this is the one which is true, but it will also give you a value, a probability, which is good. So it will give you a measure of confidence also. It also gives a measure of confidence. So that is one of the advantages of Bayesian learning. You can not only classify, but you can also give a label of confidence on your classification. Do you remember one example when we were these, but we were not doing it this way. We were not trying to maximize the a posteriori. Do you recall? So we haven't done too many classification techniques. We have done only two classification techniques. Which of them calculates the probability and then classifies?
Logistic.
Yeah. So if you remember, logistic regression started with calculating the probabilities based on the sigmoid. Probability of a given output, a continuous output, probability of an output which can be either 0 or 1 or somewhere in between the two also. It was a soft switch. So probability of an output based on the sigmoid function. And then how did we convert it into classification?
And threshold.
Using a threshold. Yaha also we are trying to find out the probabilities, but we are not using any threshold. We are just taking the maximum. So there are various hypotheses, and for each we calculate the probability, right? So that's the difference. There we are finding out the probability of an output. Here we are trying to find out a conditional probability given data. What is the probability of an hypothesis? Okay. There we use a threshold. Here we are seeing the maximum a priori, a posteriori. Sorry, not priori, a posteriori. So just see the subtle differences. All right. यहाँ पर भी ये सेम एरर जो है वो क्रीप इन हो गया है. It is PD given H. What is the difference between this and logistic regression? How did we start with logistic regression? If you remember, we had a formula, a closed loop formula, 1 by 1 plus e raised to the power something, right? Minus x. What was it?
It was the probability
Of
output getting 0 or 1 given the
the output of the hypothesis, right?
yes.
So it was probability of the hypothesis, and we assumed that this is the formula it has, right?
Yes, ma'am.
There was nobody who told us, it was our instinct. We just said ki haan, this formula is okay. The sigmoid function. That is what measures the probability of the output. So we were directly seeing the probability of the hypothesis or the output. So, assuming a closed loop formula for it. Here we are not doing that. We are not seeing it directly. We are doing it indirectly. Because what we assume here is exactly the opposite. We know the probability of the data given the hypothesis. There we are assuming the probability of hypothesis directly. All right. So here we are beginning with the data, and from the data, given this conditional probability of data happen, given the hypothesis, we are calculating the probability of the hypothesis. Okay. There we use the threshold method to find out for any given case. Here we are choosing that probability which has got the highest posteriori. All right, so let's go further. And I just said that this maximum a MAP or maximum a posteriori hypothesis is given by argmax of positive. So इसमें you see this total probability is always same. The denominator is always same. PG is this part of it is same for all hypotheses. This part of it is same for all hypotheses, and so we can ignore it and just find out the maxima by comparing the numerators. All right. So here we are comparing only the numerators. That is the likelihood multiplied by prior. So for each of the hypotheses, we multiply the prior with the likelihood. Prior with the so prior 1 multiplied by likelihood 1. Prior 2 multiplied by likelihood 2, and so onwards, and just choose the maximum of them. Okay. All right. Now, so what's the problem if it is that simple and it seems to gel with the way we think? So I think I'll stop the class. 6 baj gaye already. Almost. Okay, 1 minute left. So I can just end up by saying that here probably it is very instinctive. It's the way we also think. हम भी तो ऐसे ही करते हैं, हम एविडेंसेस देखते हैं और जो भी मैक्सिमम एविडेंस जिसकी तरफ भी पॉइंट आउट करता है वही वाले हाइपोथेसिस, that's the hypothesis we assume in our mind. It seems to gel with the way we work also, and it's a very popular method. Problem कहाँ आ जाती है? Why Bayesian learning? Though Bayesian learning is very popular, there are conferences which are dedicated only to Bayesian learning. All right. Yet, there is a slight problem there, and that is not just one feature, it's a combination of features. Typically, we have 40 features, 100 features. In case of document classification, we may have thousands of features. In case of image also, we may have several features. All pixels are features. Each pixel is a feature. So the problem comes when there are too many features, because then probability of data given hypothesis, there are too many combinations to be found out. Probability of one combination of data, probability of another combination of data, probability of another combination of data, and then we end up having thousands of such combinations. So that part has to be tackled. So with that, I'm leaving the class. I hope you all have signed the attendance. Should I give you the link again? Should I give you the link again or you'll sign? Oh, you're signing here? You can sign on the attendance sheet. Please sign on the attendance sheet, the Google form. Yeah. Okay. So you can sign and leave the class.
Hi.